So this is my 8th month of owning a dirt bike. And given how badly the first few months went, I thought it was inevitable that I'd be faster by now. When I was 14, it suddenly felt more like a liter bike. The other day, I was watching the few dirt bike videos that I've made on this channel, and I came to a single conclusion. I, Chaos Causes, would like to apologize for the dirt bike videos that I've made on this channel. To be fair, I stand by those videos as a filmmaker, and I'm glad I documented the process for myself. But I'm sorry I ever thought that you would want to watch a slow rider wobble around on a dirt bike. Of course, I didn't realize it at the time, because it was all new and exciting to me, but somehow it all spiraled in just a few chapters. First, there was buying a dirt bike. A kid excited by his new toy and eager to learn all he could. Endearing. Then there was the attempt at riding. A week of riding a dirt bike in all the wrong ways and in all the wrong places. Boring. Don't forget motocross noob. Another regrettable chapter where I exclaim that I'm never going to be a motocross rider. Ignorant. Finally, there was switching to two-strokes, including the reassurance of being an enduro rider and justifying my decision for buying a 250 two-stroke. Lost the plot. And all of this was backed up by 3 months of dirt bike radio silence. Predictable. Of course, if you watch my second channel, you'll have seen plenty of dirt bike vlogs. But I just lost the motivation to make videos about dirt bikes on this channel after months of not making any progress, which wasn't enjoyable. It sounds utterly ridiculous that you could be riding a dirt bike without enjoying it. But at this point, I figured that I had two options. I could either fully commit to dirt bikes and become a better rider, which was ultimately the reason that I bought a dirt bike in the first place, and then I would be enjoying it. Or option 2, admit defeat, sell the dirt bike, probably buy a BMW and just enjoy my retirement. As tantalizing as retiring with a BMW sounded, I didn't want to just give up. So I decided to try a few things before I settled on the BMW. And in my true filmmaking fashion, this also happened in chapters. Now, this probably sounds obvious if you're an avid dirt biker or just a suspension nerd, but you can usually get away with riding road bikes pretty comfortably without even having to touch their suspension. And I also thought that I needed a special tool to loosen the lock rings on the shock, which I didn't have. But after my first time at the MX track with my YZ, I got arm pump in under a lap, which had never been an issue for me, especially at my pace. But after doing a bit of research, I found that setting your bike's rear shock to your specific weight can make all the difference, which makes sense because then it can operate within the correct range. And I also saw people moving those lock rings with just a screwdriver and a hammer. It's crude, but it works. So when I bought the bike, the sag was set for a man weighing probably around 100 kilos, and I weigh more like 60. So when I climbed on, it didn't even budge. As a self-proclaimed enduro rider, I wasn't very excited when my riding mates planned another trip to an MX track.
Okay, so that is an incredible track that I really want to learn to ride better. And I don't think that was terrible for my first session. These jumps are pretty progressive and flowing, which is much more comforting. The funny part is that the most challenging part is literally the little kids on this track, because they are so fast and they are not scared of anything.
So every session after this, I hit my GoPro's record button on the way to the track and thought the bike must be really loud because I couldn't hear the GoPro beeping. It took me a lot of courage to accelerate up a jump and to not chicken out at the last second like I normally do. But I finally committed to jumps. And as it turns out, they're much smoother and less terrifying when you hit them at speed, fully committed, than when you hit them slowly. Because then you actually make it to the landing, which is smoother than landing on the top of them. I was so excited to be capturing my progress on camera, but I never stopped to check my battery. So all I have from my best day ever on a dirt bike was the slow first lap with the kids overtaking me. Depressing. I kissed retirement and the BMW goodbye when I bought a pickup, or a truck, a ute, a bucky, whatever you call it in your part of the world. But this meant I was fully committed to dirt bikes. I was now addicted to the idea of being a motocross rider and needed a way to get my bike to the track so I could stop using my friend as a dirt bike Uber.
You're missing a bolt.
Oh no, it fell off.
I tested out my newfound freedom by going to some of my favorite trails around. It was still fun weaving through the trees, especially since I hadn't done it in a while. But ultimately, I missed the jumps. So 3 days later, I ended up back at the MX track. I usually avoid ruts because they look deadly. So I spent the day trying to get more comfortable cornering in them. I didn't make more progress on the jumps, but left there far less terrified of coaxing my two-stroke around the corners, and was able to do some decent laps. So after 8 months of dirt bike ownership, I finally feel like I'm getting faster, and as though I'm at a good level to start really learning. Now, the filmmaker in me would love to tell you that I can now clear any jump I fancy and that I'm entered in my first MXGP race next weekend, so that I'd have a beginning, a complication, and a resolution to round out the story. However, this is life, and that's not how it works. But I'm loving dirt bikes and motocross, flying further and cornering in a rut faster than ever before, so it's not a complete failure. So please hit the like button and subscribe for the day when we do actually buy a BMW.